Yo, bartender.
Bar's closed.
Hey, yo, bartender, what's good, man? Let me get a drink, man. Let me get a shot.
Hey, man, I know you just put up to the bar, but we closed.
Come on, man. You gotta be able to give me a shot, man. Come on.
You look like you need a drink, man, but I hate to tell you this, man. We about to close.
So you need to tell me all these people out here, they got drinks and they got shots, but I can't get nothing. The bar closed that soon?
Okay, man, I don't know what else to say. I got this shorty half my age at the crib, and I'm trying to get to it. But last call was 10 minutes ago.
You know what? It's alright. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it.
All right. Tell you what, I'm gonna get you one drink, cause it look like you need
one drink. I can do one drink. I can do one drink, cause I really yeah.
Hey, man, anything, man. Look like you got a lot on your mind and you need a friend right now. Pour it on me. Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome to Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome.
One of the things brought to you by is Dispose LLC. This is a great company I've been working with for many years. I've been doing great things with Camo and other companies, but one of the things I got it back on the mark with is Dispose. We've been doing great things. One of my biggest clients is down there, Ken Food. They happy with me, and I'd like for you to be happy with me too. So come try us out. Go to our website, pull us up, and you never know. You might actually hear me when you come. Oh, yes, at Dispose.
Right.
Now, I got to get back to this person that's been the major factor of Minecraft. This brother comes in this bad boy each and every time with a smile, and I want to see if he can get one on your face. Crab, how you now doing tonight?
Phenomenal, Jay. Phenomenal, bruh. Everything
Always
is
come in with this, man. I just got to know how you keep this energy up, man, because I be needing something sometimes, man. I be slacking.
You know, Jay, I was asking myself this week that same question, right?
Okay, what you get?
And I was happy to be watching TV when your words came across my head. Like, how do you stay up, Stacy? How do you stay up? Because I'm trying to teach people how to stay up in life, right? And immediately I looked at the right corner of my TV and I have a picture of my father sitting there with a big grin on his face. And every time I see that grin, I can't do nothing but laugh. It's like looking at my dad just reminds me of all the fun we had, you know?
Okay.
So, you know, I have all kinds of reminders throughout each day that life is good, man. And I try to stay focused on that, you know? And if you stay focused on that life is good, you're going to find the positive. You're going to put a smile on your face. You're going to put some joy in your heart.
Right.
And you're going to keep grinding forward, regardless of how painful your life and situation might be.
Okay.
Right? Doesn't mean I ain't got problems because I got a smile on my face. Because if you're human, you got problems.
Right.
But you got to overlook the problems sometimes and get back to the self. And just know that all is well, man. And I'm just living the greatest life that I can live. So that's how I do it, Jay.
Hey, man, you know, I like how you do it because I grab from what you just said. That smile does not reflect everything, but it shows you where you want to be.
Right.
I like to say one of the reasons why I probably don't is because I show how I feel. You know, it just comes out of me. And I need to stop that because that's something I can't control.
Yes.
And everything don't even affect me the way I show it.
Yes.
So I need to pay more attention to what I'm looking at and how I'm showing it and how I'm handling it.
You know what, Jay? I'm gonna introduce a Minecraft clip right after this introduction, right? Let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. This is Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay.
Yes.
And we are here to liberate your minds and soul with a fantastic dialogue. We're gonna have a conversation tonight and just chop it up all over the subject. And we hope that you can grow from what we're talking about tonight.
Yes.
That you can be inspired, that you can learn something, that you can make some new decisions in your life. Let it be kind of therapeutic. And in fact, tonight's topic is celebrities, rappers, and accountability. Do we expect these folks to be our role model? Should we expect them to behave in a certain way? How should we look at folks who have greater prosperity and greater responsibility? How should we perceive and receive those people?
I got you.
And I think that's going to be a good conversation. You know?
I think so too.
So we want you folks to sit back, relax, and just enjoy this dialogue and just sift through the goodness. Of course, we always start the show off with a prayer. And Jay didn't know.
Man, I'll give it to him, Krabs. Knock him out the box.
All right, I'm just going to I'm going to pray over the topic tonight.
Okay.
Heavenly Father, we come into your presence right now just thanking you for all that you are.
Yes.
Thank you for your strength. Thank you for your goodness and your wisdom and your grace. We know that we are nothing without your power in our life. We ask, Heavenly Father, tonight that you would give us a new understanding of how to see people in this world. We know, Father, there are people who are making big things happen, quote unquote, in the world. They're celebrities, and they may be rappers and artists, and they have a certain character about them that we admire, but there are also very many things that we don't admire. We're asking you, Father, to give us a wisdom and an understanding about how to deal with these people and how to understand these particular situations. Give us grace and intelligence. Show us a direction and allow us to be decisive in our spirit about the things that we hear here today. We want you, Father, to be here in our show. Speak your word through us. Allow us to be filled with your grace as we do so. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Oh yeah, you did that.
Amen.
You did that one. Now on, Crafty-Matic.
Now, I wanted to just cover something. You said sometimes the smile doesn't always reflect everything that's going on.
Correct.
And you know, in my effort of Minecraft, what I'm attempting to do is to help people to deal with the things of life, right? And there is an outside way that you deal with things, but there's also an inside way that you deal with things. And because we have never been taught how to think, we don't know sometimes that we're beating ourselves up on the inside. We're tearing ourselves down. We're filled and riddled with negative thinking and fear-based thoughts and challenge and stress and struggle inside of our mind. That's where the depletion of life comes. And so, yes, we all need to understand better how to separate who I really am from the things that's happening in the world. Because if I can separate the two, then I know that I am not my circumstance. I am not my circumstance. I'm bigger than the circumstance that I'm going through. That's how come I'm going to overcome it. That's how come I'm going to get through this unscathed, no losses, filled with positivity, is because I know that I am bigger than this situation. But when you start to think that the situation is bigger than you, that's when you get all those fear-based thoughts. And so I have pledged my life to help people overcome the inner struggle of life, the inner worry and not knowing how to think, because your thoughts create your reality. And when you have those worry and fear-based and troublesome thoughts, what you're doing is you're planting seeds to manifest more of that. But when you break the cycle with positive ideas and positive thoughts, you immediately overcome the negative and move in a positive direction, whether it be in your mind and your heart, or whether it be in your behavior, or whether it be in your situation and circumstance. But whichever frequency you operate upon will be the frequency of your reality. And that's the point I wanted to make, in that we do have to watch our thoughts, because we have to be accountable for our thoughts. If we're not held accountable to our thoughts, and you think you can think anything, then you're going to think lots of random, wild, non-valuable things, and you're going to get lots of random, wild, non-valuable things happen in your life. Right?
I've had that happen.
The one who is experiencing confusion is first experiencing confusion in the mind. And when one changes the mind and said, you know what? I declare organization, I declare simplicity, I declare an easy understanding of this situation and an answer to it, those words manifest too.
I've noticed that.
You see? So we got to learn how to shift our mind, and that's the point of it. All here. We're going to actually continue this discussion in tonight's topic. Tonight we're talking about celebrities, rappers, and accountability. Should our high-end role models be held accountable for their behavior in front of the rest of the world? Now, if they were nobody and they did what they did, it wouldn't hurt nobody, right? But because they are, quote unquote, somebody, that they're influencing other people, and it matters what they do, what they say, the harsh lyrics, the social media gone too far pictures, all kinds of stuff that's happening in the world. How should we think about our celebrities and our rappers? What measure of accountability should they hold, Jay? What's your thoughts?
Well, I really feel like sometimes we overly hold them, and we need to hold ourselves. You got to admit, they're out there doing their thing, and then they got your kids following them. Well, again, if you're a great role model at your own home, you should always be present in front of your child yourself. Now, I understand they on the TV, and the kids want to be on the TV. They want that thing, okay? But sometimes you have to break them kids down to a point where they can understand where you came from, because it's close at home with the one you with. So once you understand that what they're doing is what they had to learn in their gift, you need to know yours. And that way you could be talented just like them. And it ain't necessarily going to be the same. You're not going to be that person on stage performing, okay? They could be behind the scenes. You know, a lot of people don't want to look at it, but everybody want to be Jordan. I actually would have loved to have been Jordan's agent. I wouldn't have had to get on that court not one time, but I would have been a multi-millionaire. It's a lot of positions that you can be in to get paid, but you always want the best one, always to be seen. It's not always going to be there. So when the kids see it, they always want the top. Now I'm saying there's a lot of stuff to go along with it. That's why you got to have to educate them how they like their song. My kids listen to some music that I really don't always get into. But the bottom line is they all into it. So I let them break it down for me. They like it so much, I want to know why. So they break down their music, and guess what? I go grab some old school R&B, and then we go toe to toe. Sometimes they give me, sometimes they don't. But my whole thing is just to understand it. And it's prevalent. I'm prevalent in their life. You see what I'm saying? It's not just the celebrity that makes my kids do everything. No. My son loves the music. They love the artist. They know the artist. They know the song. And I'm not mad at that at all. No hater here. Bottom line is, I also want to have control of my own child. I don't need my child just following somebody just because they said some things in a rap lyric and they feel like they can go out there and do the same thing. I don't tell them, hold on. NWA was in my time. And I loved it. And they said, F the police, okay? And I felt that way. But they ain't made me run out there and just say it to them. They was beating us down then. They beating us today. There's some things you just don't want to do. But I love the song, okay? That song shouldn't make you go act a freaking fool. That's just what you want to do. And that's what I break it down to my kids, same thing. Because once you go out there and you act a certain way, they're going to hold you behind accountable. Certain things dad can't do for you no more. But the bottom line, are you there for them? Are you showing them? Or are you allowing the tablet, the new wave or the internet come in? AI, you got everybody in their heads and teaching them? Or are you still present in front of them? And I know a lot of us not. But the ones that can be, continue. Do the best you can. Because again, I think we're losing some of our younger youth to AI that we can't control. But then again, are we even trying to find out about AI? Or are we just going to let it roll over us? Because then they will copulate and take over our younger youth. Because you had no clue. The internet did it. You can tell your kid all kinds of lies and they can look it up. Easter Bunny, Christmas, all the rest of them. You can say whatever you want to say what it is. They can look it up and see it for themselves. Now you're looking kind of crazy. And everybody said I was wrong for telling my kids early on. Well, technology changed. They can find out for themselves. So you might want to watch what you're saying. Because they're going to fact check you. Something that most kids never do. They always want to believe in their parents. Now, parents need to be true. Because the kids can check you. Information is all over. And everybody can get a hold to it. So I like to say I have to hold myself more accountable. Not to say I'm a celebrity, but some of the things that I put out there in social media and the things I say and I do, I have to be accountable. It's very important for me to do that.
Why?
Because people going to hold me to it, just like they hold me to my word. So at least if you stand by what you say.
Is that the only reason you do it? Because people hold you to it?
And again, it's accountability. I have a liability behind this. You know, you have to be insured. Slander and all the rest of that, you can be sued. So again, you might want to watch what you're saying you do.
And listen, I know you quite well, Jay, right? Like this show would be a lot more raw if we didn't have some censorship going on. Now, right?
And again,
and so listen, here's the thing.
Say it,
so what's happening is you're toning down.
Yes.
Because you are concerned, not afraid, but you're concerned about how other people receive the message.
Correct.
But there are those who are on world stages, who are on major stages, celebrities and rappers. Mm-hmm. They don't care if they just taught your kid the name of a new drug.
Okay.
They don't seem to care if they just taught your kid the name of a new gun.
Okay.
And these you know what we have seen, and it's actually in my opinion is toning down a little bit. But at the time NWA was in the game, I mean, they were speaking so hardcore. There was so many people who just couldn't hear what they were saying. But they weren't saying what they were saying because they wanted to just be Billy Badasses. They were saying what they were saying because that's what they wanted to express in art as a result of what they were experiencing in the street.
Correct.
And, when you say F the police, you are, those guys basically were just saying, hey man, we seeing nothing but y'all tearing us down. We don't see nothing but y'all breaking our backs, y'all down on us. And so we're going to speak out on it. And we're going to speak out on it in kind of a militant way. Not a way that's edifying, but we're going to tear you down like you tearing us down. And it was it paid off.
Yes,
right?
long term.
It did pay off. But to some degree, there was some of those people who got killed because of those lyrics. There were some of those people who went into gang battles as a result of those words and the influence of those words. And so, we're looking at artists. These guys, they were gangster a little bit. They definitely came from a world of gangsters, but they might not have been gangsters. There's probably more, hood entrepreneurs, who knew the gangster world very well. May have sold a few drugs, may have been in jail for a little bit, may have done some other crimes, beat some people up. And so they got some stories to tell.
Right.
They do have stories to tell, but those stories had a way of maybe even pulling the whole black effort down. And they didn't think about whether they were pulling the black effort down. They were thinking they just wanted to speak their mind,
right,
and they wanted to produce art. And I would imagine in their minds it was probably like, I ain't no different than Richard Pryor. I'm just saying some different shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm no different than Richard Pryor and all these other people. They made fun. Mine just happened to be a little more political,
right,
politically addressed. But I'm just producing art. It's just records, man. And they would say exactly what you're saying. That if you are a real parent, you ain't got to worry about what I say on these records.
And I have to hold that somewhat true because, again, I don't always look as a tear down because a lot of times people take things out of content. Okay? You can look at that F the Police. That's not the only music they put out. That's not the only thing they stood by. But what happened then, you can say it is still happening now. That's why it became strong. A lot of times you got to go against the grain. You can't just go with everybody tell you. You can't always be pleasantly Joel Osteen smooth, okay? Sometimes you got to be a little rough with it. Your deliverance ain't gonna always be the same.
Okay.
Everybody want to copy something, but everything ain't to be copied.
Right.
I like to say what they came out with wasn't copied. It was kind of rough, but guess what? It got some people through, and that's what I kind of like.
I totally agree with that. If there was no rap until today, let's just say we had 15 of the greatest rap songs ever in the history of mankind all released in one day. And then your kids have never heard rap. But in the midst of this rap, they talking about freaking girls, they talking about guns, they talking about new drugs and new ways to get high, they talking about how they shot somebody and killed. Would you allow your children to listen to that rap on day one?
I'm gonna tell you all day long. I can't always control what they listen to
Would
because
you?
I'm not always around them. But I will tell you when I heard some things and I heard them repeating it and singing it and saying it, and I think I knew they didn't know exactly what they were saying. I had them sit down and break down to me, what are you saying? What's the rap lyric? And then when they started talking about mollies and the drugs, I was like, do you understand what that drug is? Do you talk about choppers and guns?
Yeah.
Do you understand what kind of gun that is?
Yeah.
Because you're rapping, but we can go look it up. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, it's not me just totally against them. It's making me more knowledgeable about what you're saying and where you might be going. Because again, it sounds so good. You're bouncing, you with your friends.
Yeah, the music gets you trapped.
Yeah,
caught up.
And now you trapping and you ain't trapping. You ain't from the streets, but now you doing street stuff.
But that music make you feel like you want to be a street man.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I drive a lot. I listen to it sometimes to hype me up.
Yeah, me too.
But guess what? When they hype me up, it don't make me go out and do crazy stuff or anything else.
That's right.
Now again, I can say I'm more mature, but I ain't gonna lie. There's people my age that don't act mature at all. It's up to you and your development.
Yeah.
And my whole thing is not to push them down and make them feel like they can't pick music. My whole thing is to make them understand what the music's talking about.
That's beautiful, and that can only happen because you are in the presence of your child.
That's true.
We know that 68% of Black American homes do not have a man or a father in the home. So that conversation is not happening. So now what has to happen, because the father is not there and maybe the mother doesn't have the kind of time, or she's not being exposed to what the child's listening to all the time, children can be kind of sneaky, that now what we have to do is teach the young people and sometimes the old people that this is just art.
Yeah.
We have to teach them, like you just said, when I get in my car, I can get hype on it, right? Because I'm listening to the metaphor for the meaning and not listening to the metaphor for its reality, right? But the young people are listening to the reality, right?
Yep.
And so now they get caught up in the things that are being said. But one of my favorite things to do is put on a Jay-Z or a Rick Ross album and hear them talk about balling out of control, and hear them talk about rap. They're not necessarily talking about killing. Now what they are doing is they're talking about, I might have to handcuff my producer because I thought he robbed me of some money, and I might have to get at him. Right? And I'm thinking like, okay, might be some people in my life who I might need to get at. That helps my spirit, right? So I can learn a lot from these lyrics. But you said the major thing here, Jay. People take things out of context. And it's impossible for people to absorb the author's context if they don't talk to the author. So nobody's going to get the truth on what's really being said. Everybody just has an opinion, and now ultimately you're going to have a body of weighing competition on what's good and what's not. It has been controversy since the history of mankind, right? Person like R. Kelly, right?
Okay.
We loved his music for so long.
There's a lot of people ain't living around
And
now.
we heard the truth about perhaps where some of them songs originated. And at that point, we began to hold him accountable for the things that he done in the world. And even more so, we began to condemn his music because we realized that he was talking to 14-year-old girls in those songs.
Okay.
And so there are many people who stopped listening to R. Kelly's music because of what he did as a man.
Yeah.
And you cannot blame them for that.
I cannot, but I will say I'm going to lose a lot of people right now. A lot of people stopped listening to his music. I ain't stopped listening to nothing. His music never made me run after a 14-year-old or look at a young girl. It hasn't. That music was something that I strive, and I ain't even knew what it really meant then. So when somebody broke it down and told me, guess what? That wasn't my mentality.
You weren't even,
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
You remind me of my Jeep. I'm like, I ain't never seen nobody built like a Jeep, but then I met somebody that's pretty big, like one, like a Ford Ranger or something, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So again, I'm laughing at some of the lyrics, and it was comical, all right, and I kept it there. So now when I'm hearing, oh, it was really this, and this, okay, that's where you stayed at it as. I always took it for something else, and that's why it was a very popular song, and that's why it hit the charts like it did. Again, people should take things out of context because of what their fear is, because of what he was starting to do.
Right.
But my whole thing is, hell, you can listen to some of the music and see he needed some help.
You know what?
Back in the day.
You know what's interesting, and I've had this experience many a times. I'm in the club, and I'm listening to they playing the hottest music for the crowd that's there for the most part, right? It happens to be a little bit younger crowd, and so they playing this new song, and you look around the room, you think you never heard this song, so you don't know it from Adam. But you look around the room and you see more than half of the room mouthing the song.
Yeah, know it.
Know the song, know the words inside and out. And that's the point I want to make here, is that some people listen to that music and they never even hear the words. I'm that guy. I'm a music guy. If it's got that rhythm and flow and it's got 2 or 3 instruments behind it, I can listen to the song 20 times and not even know what they're saying.
Because I'm into the instrument.
Because I'm into the song.
I'm into the bass and lines.
The
you like,
backgrounds, you know.
You putting your own music to it.
Exactly.
You know you be riding.
Exactly.
I be like,
or
that ain't what I be saying.
Or it reminds you of something. You know, it reminds you of an old song. You know, nowadays they do a lot of remixing.
Oh,
they'll take the old song, put it in the background of the new
put
song.
a little rap on top.
Yeah, and it feels so real.
And you just jam it.
No
matter how you talk it. I'm with that old.
They done cursed all the way through the song, but all I heard was feel so good. So the point is that half the people are listening to the words, and we don't even know if they care about the words, or if they're demonstrating the words, or making the words their example, or making the words their stronghold, but they're listening to the words.
Correct.
But then the other half aren't listening to the words at all. Right? So, you know, we have to, at some point, I don't know, throw up a white flag between artistry and accountability.
Well,
you know, we have to at some point say, you know what, man, these kids was enjoying themselves. They love the words, they love the song, they're buying it. You know, the artist says, hey man, that's what I just spoke something that they know about. I spoke something that they feel. I spoke something that they can get with. That's all it is. It's just a great song. But the people who are listening to the words, that might become their whole mentality. And they hear one line in the song, and the line in the song says, pop the fool who try to get at you.
No.
And all of a sudden, that's all they thinking about. Popping the fool who try to get at you. Now they thinking about buying a gun. They thinking about retaliation. They thinking about hurting somebody. You know. And so, where does the artist begin to take responsibility for what might be happening in the street as a result of his artistry? There has to be a white flag fine line somewhere between those two.
I would like to say also, you know, not just to defend them, but let's just look at this as a parent. You have to also have some control of what they're listening to, and you can try to dictate that.
Supposed to.
Right. But again, if you are, it kills that record sale. It might not be as popular. But again, they're going to push the most negative thing. But I got to look at it in the limelight of myself. Or no, I want to use me. Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels have said many things, and rest and so he's gone. But I will say one of the things that I noticed, they will take clips of things that he said and make it look so negative. When you listen to the whole thing, it was not just
that way.
People pull what they want to get you to sway their way.
Right.
Not necessarily his. He had more content than he cared more. Nobody cared to hear the whole thing. So they get snippets. And they kind of blackwash him. And look, hey, he's so negative, and they talk about how people are beasts, this, that, the other. And then, you know, I seen some of the clips, and I kind of like it. But again, I started asking, who's Kevin Samuels? What do we do? He's a consultant. So you start understanding his profession and why he was talking. You know, I have respect for understanding his craft. So now I go back and I listen to the whole content. Now, I didn't get what they was just showing me, okay? Now, I'm a Kevin Samuels lover, this, that, the other. No, you just don't got time to listen to the whole thing. You're driven by social media, and that's how they can do you. They can control you by a negative when you can also be a positive. He wasn't that negative. He was trying to bring people together, but he brought some light to some obesity that most people didn't want to talk to. He left out the 7 because everybody picked 7. You should have known it was rigged when he told you can't pick a 7. Okay? You played his game and then got yourself in a pickle. My whole thing is, look at what he was doing. It wasn't a whole negative thing, but I promise you, if you went back when he was living, they was making him seem so negative.
Yeah.
And then he became very popular when he was saying them. Y'all are taking snippets. Y'all ain't hearing the whole thing. And I feel like they do the same thing to us when we say certain things. Everybody grab the negative compared to all the positive stuff that we really say.
And what that basically is they were picking the words.
Exactly.
They were picking the words. So what says that, Boo?
So I want to know how y'all feel about since y'all talking about rappers and celebrities and everything.
Okay.
And how do y'all feel about, and this has to do with the women celebrities nowadays, more over the rappers, your Cardi B's, your you know what I'm saying? Your Cardi B's, your I don't know if y'all remember, familiar with Sexy Red.
Sexy Red, okay.
All them
Cardi B, Sexy Red.
Yeah, but they're teaching the women the mentality, the prostitute mentality. Basically.
They're teaching women the prostitute mentality. Woo, that's powerful.
Okay.
Because all they talking about is the sexuality and what you can get for it. So that's the prostitute mentality in our community.
And see that is the essence of the part of the problem we came here to talk about tonight, right?
Okay.
I never knew,
And if you notice in our community, and we one of the only communities, the black people, our women believe in that mentality.
That tough lady mentality, that boss lady mentality, that kind of street woman mentality. Yeah, they do. And
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the actual prostitute mentality.
The prostitute mentality.
Yes.
Yeah. Listen. Because what they're saying is, listen.
No wonder you don't want to get on the bike. Oh, he about to start some stuff.
Listen. When he say prostitute mentality, here's what I heard. I heard the thing that men oftentimes are complaining about now is that women ain't about nothing but the money. It like they buy, hey, if if you got paper, we can get together. If you ain't got that paper, if you can't take me out, buy me nice things, I ain't about it. So it's just the mentality. We're not calling them prostitutes, but we're saying you basically sell your soul for the money. You know what I'm saying? And that's a message that Nicki Minaj and all these young women, these women are teaching. They're selling in their music and in their videos, and I'm gonna kind of take up for them just a little bit, right?
I will too.
They are all just in a persona, right? There's not, Nicki Minaj might be a freak, but ultimately she's creating a persona on a screen that's going to project her and be popular, be liked, be sexy, be fly, be all the stuff that anybody who is seeking, the good life, they would want to be a part of or want to do. So I never knew. I know she is, I think, almost a billionaire now, if she's not already, right? I never knew she has a high level of education. She went to a New York School of Arts, right? She built this persona on her own. She raps. Like, I really just started paying attention to her rap. She's a phenomenal rapper. Right? Her message is delivered like a movie and a character, but it's being misconstrued because people are getting it as who she really is or what they should really be. What were we gonna say, Boo?
But you got grown ass women out here, broke grown ass women out here trying to live up to that mentality.
But listen, that's it. But see, now we're not talking about kids anymore. Now we're talking about grown folk looking at videos trying to mimic the images they see.
And their kids watching them.
Yeah, and I don't think nobody ever gonna really step in and say anything to a grown person except for you trifling. And if that's how you gonna be, if that's all you can see, go ahead. But I don't know if we can depend on celebrities and rappers and all these people who are influencing like that to be concerned about adults. Like they be like, you know what I'm saying? They grown. They do what they want to do, and they buy my music. So the hell with it. That's kind of what it is for the grown. But it is culturally, it is creating a stigmatism in our communities because women are seeking what the community doesn't have. The community is not 70% filled with prosperous men. It's only 10%, maybe 15% filled with prosperous men. And so if all your mindset is about prosperous man, then you either going to be with the dope boy, because he a prosperous man, or you going to find some of that 10%. But most of you going to strike out because the man that you looking for ain't real. You know what I'm saying? That prostitute mentality is good, but only in an environment where there are men available to satisfy it, right? And if you ain't got men who are prosperous, if 70% of the men, 80% of the men in the world live paycheck to paycheck, that for the most part, you're going to wind up with a man who lives paycheck to paycheck. But there's nothing wrong with a hard-working man living a paycheck to paycheck. He's bought houses, he put kids through college, he's bought cars, he's taken big trips and vacations. The working man can do all the things in the world that need to be done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you shouldn't judge a man by the amount of money he has, but these videos and that persona makes you think that you should.
Correct.
Right? Here's something else that you mentioned, Jay.
Okay.
And I got 2 points to make here on the subject. You said they're going to push the thing that's next. And what I heard in that, who is they? They are the companies. You see, I do believe that, there are a lot of good rappers and there are a lot of good, people who, know how to put great messages together in word tracks and wordsmiths. But a lot of these, especially early in the game, a lot of these companies decided that they're going to do gangster rap. And they started looking for the baddest gangster rappers on the street. They can bring it to their studio so they can pump out gangster rap. That was their whole mentality, was to keep gangster rap on the street. And some people believe that they know the damage that gangster rap is doing to our streets. Okay. But they are doing it still intentionally to harm us.
Okay.
Now, kind of a cross segment to that is that we see gangsters in movies all the time. Matter of fact, you can't even have a good, decent movie without a gangster or a criminal or a bad guy.
That's what I watch.
It's like movies just represent all the baddest, worst stuff in the universe. But it doesn't get the same label as music. It doesn't get the same label as hip hop. It doesn't get the same label as African American rappers.
If you ever met a great actor and he always played them roles, people really think that's that person. So when they see him, that's what they automatically assume. Oh, I love you in this movie. They don't understand that's an actor.
That's an actor.
That's the same thing when these people get on these stage and they perform. They are actors. Okay, don't think that's just them. It's more to them. Just like with us, when we sit up here and we do our thing. Okay, people don't understand. We got real lives behind us. We're bringing something to the table because, again, we are thoughtful enough to know we want to make some encouraging marks in people's lives. That I'll be walking away saying the legacy and I'm proud. Okay? That's not just an act. That is me still acting because I have to act some things out for you can see some things. It's all about me you can't see on this screen.
Right.
Some people like to live their life off the screen and still be in front of the camera. I don't. Okay? Because some of the stuff I do is none of your dang old business. But I notice on social media, people ain't famous, but they want to show everything. Where they go to eat, who they with, who they dated. I can go down their timeline and see all the different men they had.
All the meals they had throughout the week. All the troubles they was concerned about.
I'm having some difficulty here because if I'm trying to prove and be with that person for the rest of my life, and I'm going down a timeline and I'm seeing all the people you dated, the food you ate and everything else, that makes me more of looking at you differently. Now, I shouldn't have that much access to you, but you gave it to the world. I'm kind of curious about how that's going to help me and where I'm going, okay? And that's something that, again, I'm not saying who should put what out there. That's y'all business. But some of y'all look like some fools. Y'all don't have to put everything out there. Every time somebody break up with your ass, hell, I'll be watching Facebook. This chick done broke up with this dude like 5-6 times, but you keep going back with him. I just want to go on their page and be like, quit telling us, because all you're going to keep doing is keep taking them back. It's a waste of our time. People give you good advice. I read your little comments. Some of the comments look real good. You didn't take it. You gonna do what you want to do, but you still want to put your business out there. I'm confused. So I like to say it ain't just the celebrities. Some of us need to step back and look at what we're doing and hold ourselves more accountable instead of saying, look at Nicki, look at Cardi B, forget the celebrity status and look at yourself. Because you can't get yourself out there, mimic her song, get up there with them fake nails and all this other stuff and think that's what we like. Some people can hold themselves, and I say, God bless them. Other ones, come on, man, you're looking like a clown, and your girlfriend ain't telling you because she know you don't look better than her, so she gonna let you go out there looking like that. She gonna let you go out there and don't do that. No, let's be for each other, not again.
I like the message, Jay, because you just took us out of the clouds and you brought us to the street level. You brought us on ground floor. That ultimately, I think we all are seeking to hold the world accountable, right? if, for example, you had, let's just say, there's a household family of, young boys.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, she got 4 boys, and the woman, across the street wants to be half naked in the front yard all the time.
Miss Parker.
Miss Parker.
Miss Parker.
I think that Mama is going to start to put some heat on Miss Parker to keep her behind out the front yard so she ain't tempting her boys, right? And so we all have to hold the world a little bit accountable. You can't hold grown folk accountable, you know what I'm saying? But you can make sure that teachers don't misdress at school. You can make sure that that boys pull their pants up. We have to do our part in every way we can. Now, if you go mess around with the average young boy's pants down, you might get bust across the forehead. You know what I'm saying? Hey, like Biggie said, I'm gonna have to go to your chatterbox.
That's a good one. I like that.
But you don't want your son wearing his pants down behind his butt. You don't.
I don't.
Yeah,
but
you don't.
do.
You don't want him looking at porn. Your kids.
I don't.
Right?
But
you don't want. You don't want your kids cursing. You don't want your kids doing drugs. These are normal things in the world. We've been looking at holding people accountable who have no impact in our life, except for their messages getting through to one of our family members, their song or etc. But we're taking it out of the clouds now and just bringing it down. That we gotta hold the average person accountable. You can't have your son's baseball coach screaming at the son, screaming at the kids. You can't have give me some examples. There's lots of you can't have your boss cursing you out. You know what I mean?
And that's unprofessional as a mug. But again, when it comes to some of the coaches, they get passionate, so I understand it. And some of the time our kids do crazy things. Like you was mentioning, I wouldn't want my son going around with his pants underneath his behind, but he do it. I've talked to him about it. I made sure he understands that it's inappropriate for your mother to see it, your grandmother to see it, any family member to see it. I don't care to see it myself. I don't know where you get it from. I heard it came from a certain place. I'm not going to name it because I ain't researched it because I don't care to.
Let me ask you.
Just don't care to see it. And he does it anyway.
He does it anyway.
Against my will.
And so you're suggesting that you really have no way to hold accountability.
No, I can tell you at some point I'll stop trying to control his ass. Because if you're going to keep on doing it after I'm telling you how it looks negative to me, and you just going to show me this how you want to walk down this path, there's sometimes you got to let them walk that walk. Because I get sick and tired of losing all my energy trying to tell you how a perception of what I see and how I don't like it. I didn't like it on you, let alone anyone else. But you going to do it anyway. There's going to be a time I have to pull back because I got to keep my sanity. Okay? I'm not going to pour my cup out for a person that don't care for me to pour it in. I'm overflowing him and he's not listening to me. Yeah. So what I do is I push back. And I'm going to tell you, some of the pushback helped me a little bit because some of the people he dated told him the same thing. So then I'm having a conversation with him. Like, man, she got on me about my dang on pants hanging off my butt. Knowing I have a stance against that. And I'm sitting there like, okay, finally somebody else getting to you because you don't want to get it from me. So it's never about just giving up. It's just understanding sometimes people just don't accept the information that you're giving them.
Yeah, and that leads us to this kind of a great segue in the discussion when you can't hold people accountable. You can't hold these grown folks accountable. All these artists, they doing what they want to do. Mm-hmm. You can say no to it once you discover what it is, but you can't hold them accountable. Now, maybe you write some letters to your congressman or your senator. Maybe you write a letter to them or send an email to their email box and say, hey, I don't like what you're doing. Can you tone it down? You're impacting the kids in the wrong way. That's about as much accountability as you can have. You cannot buy their music. You cannot buy their films. You cannot watch their videos. That's all you can do.
And that's an impact.
But that is an impact. But on the ground floor, what Jay is suggesting here is that I have already held them accountable. And listen to this. This is important. Accountability takes work.
Yes, it does.
Accountability is you willing to fight to make them understand and to make them act the proper way or toe the line or do the right thing. But when you realize you can't hold them accountable, what do? You fire them. right? You give up and you stop talking to them. You stop talking about them, right? If it's an artist or a musician, you stop listening to their music. You know what I'm saying? They don't. You just give up on it, right? So there is a place in the accountability chain where one says, "There's nothing I can do. Let me do what I can do," and that is to ignore you, rebuke you, and push you out. Right. I think we've done the subject a pretty good job, man. And
I do. I know a lot of people ain't gonna really feel us, but again, this show is not just to make you feel good. And I'm not doing this for everybody to say, "Hey," I'm actually challenging you to look at what's going on today, for you can make the best decisions. Look back at the show, and you'll see that me and Kraft ain't never came in with our pants hanging off our ass. So it's not like we hypocrites, okay?
Yeah.
We care about our appearance, and we out there in the public, not just on the show. I'm gonna dress to impress, no matter where I go and what I do. I want my kids and everybody else to have that same feeling. How I dress is a reflection of me.
Yeah, and I'm just going to make a quick comment, Boom, and then we're going to get out of here. That I think the challenges that we have in mankind is that we are judging a man versus his gifts. And we know that R. Kelly made the greatest music in the history of mankind. He was one of the best of the best. But he also was a pervert. And he also was a child molester, and da-da-da-da-da. And I wonder if you found out the guy who created penicillin or Advil or Tylenol or any of these other things, and you found out that they were child molesters, would you stop using those products? Probably not. So let's separate the man from his gift. I can rebuke the man, but I'm going to utilize his gift in the world and make it make sense in the world. So just something that we need to think about, because everybody has baggage and has that dark place in their life that we wouldn't like. So with that, I'm going to close out the show. This has been Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic. My boy Smooth Jay.
Yes.
And we want to thank you folks for being here with us this evening. We're here every Thursday from 7 to 8, Facebook Live. And we have hundreds of shows. Please like, share, subscribe. When you are looking for talk radio, when you are looking for a great, healthy, wise, intelligent discussion, Bar Talk is the place you need to be. We want to thank you folks again. Never forget that we love you. We appreciate you. And with that, we are out.
Ain't no last calls here.